Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the FACEIT and ELEAGUE $300,000 tournament qualifiers, the Overwatch Open. We are doing EU right now. We're right in the middle of a best-of-3 between OWKINGS and PRETS. This is the round of 16. Just a best-of-3. OWKINGS up 1-0 already means PRETS have to win here on Dorado, which is our map choice.
Oh, right. And we watched PRETS play on Dorado last night against Team Project in King of the Watch. And you were mentioning how I think Team Project had an amazing sort of Dorado in their best-of-3 qualifier match, and then coming into play PRETS, this was actually the only map that PRETS lost.
Yeah, so...
But it was really interesting under rather incredible circumstances because I think they were on course to comfortably win on time. Until, Joshy.
Yeah, so PRETS actually had a blazing fast offense on Dorado in a match that we cast just yesterday, and but they got held up in that final room. So things could go either way here against OWKINGS, who have shown strength actually toward the end of both rounds of that first map, Numbani. So OWKINGS definitely looking for advancement into the round of 8. Of course, the losing team will be done for the day, but of course they will also scoop up some of those sweet qualifying points. And it's not just the automatic invites from winning these brackets, but every point matters. Every round matters quite a bit to these teams trying to get in on points at the end of the day. There will be 8 teams for Europe and 8 teams for North America. So even if they get knocked out here, if they have a great week next week, who knows? They could, scrounge up enough points to actually get in anyway.
Exactly right. I think the top contenders in the points table are reasonably cemented in their position. Of course, you're never sure until you're mathematically sure you're in the top 16.
Someone could lose in the round
Creation
of 16.
Esports, the Anoxes of the world, the Reuniteds are looking really, really solid at the moment. Of course, they still have to show up, they still have to compete, they still need to get those places, but they're in a good position. These guys are the teams where we're a little bit touch and go. We're not 100% certain we're making it in. We need to see that deep run through the bracket to pick up those points so that maybe even win the entire thing today. But even if they don't win, those points need to matter. And that starts for PRETS here on Dorado because they are down 1-0. They have to win the next 2 games or face elimination at this stage. And it doesn't look like Zarya is a big fan of pinatas.
I think it's actually kind of lucky for PRETS and OWKINGS that they're not facing those teams that you mentioned in the round of 16. Reunited, Creation, Anox, both, all 3 actually with plenty of points to their name, but hitting them in the round of 16 in a single Limbio 3 can definitely be a downer on your day. So PRETS, I think this is their best opportunity perhaps to move into the round of 8. And something I'll be looking out for here as the doors are open, the attacking team is going to be OWKINGS to start us off with PRETS on defense. And something, essentially what I'm looking for is Freed. I want to see Freed do some nice Reaper performing here. Grape is going to be playing that Zarya from the get-go this time. Verticality, almost a non-factor in this map compared to Numbani with the ledges all around the entire course of the map. Here, it's all about the flanking routes. So Tracers, Genji is going to be very valuable. I'm very surprised, actually, the attacking team is not using either. They're going with a very strong ground-based offense and looping around here to the left side rather than pushing the cart through that narrow choke.
And here we go, triple tank, first engage, actually pushing PRETS all the way back here. They're being very careful with 3 tanks. There is an awful lot of HP here on the side of OWKINGS. Will they be able to break through in PRETS, or will they get the pickups that they need to slowly take the rest of the team out? Claus goes down, which is worrying because that was a big, big presence there for PRETS. But in exchange, the DPS players are able to take down 3 other members, and even Tweedy, I believe the last tank to fall there isn't going to be able to do much. So we do have a reset. PRETS will be able to take this marketplace again.
Freed must have heard me somehow, some way, because he got a lot of damage in there, was never really in trouble himself, but he did his job, found that Reinhardt very quickly. Roadhog, of course, is a great pin cushion for Reaper in conjunction with that Discord Orb from his Zenyatta, so Reaper is going to be having a lot of fun taking down these ground-based tanks. There's that Graviton Surge already catching a lot of members here. Deadeye could come out from Nilar, but he was flying at the time, didn't want to risk it. He didn't know where he was going to come down or who would be there waiting for him. But look at that, Freed with the triple kill. Death Blossom did come out, and he scooped a lot of kills there for the defense. Everything looking good for PRETS. It's been almost 2 full minutes. That's half the time allotted just to try and take A here for OWKINGS.
OWKINGS need to identify that Freed is the key player that they need to take out. If they went back up through the left-hand side and they had that triple tank, like big team engagement again, but they got the first pick up onto Freed, it will be a really interesting fight. And I actually think they stand a decent chance there, but they need to make sure that he is dealt with. They're coming straight through the middle this time. They are not waiting at all. Mistakes getting an excellent first shot off on the DPS, and Olba coming back to pay for his crimes by the looks of things. Transcendence being popped from OWKINGS now. They are currently 1 McCree down. excellent hook there,
wow,
but not able to
bubble.
get... Yeah, unfortunately, the clutch bubble coming out from Zarya, preventing that from happening. But the picks elsewhere do mean that OWKings will be able to break through.
Oh, Adatonian using the Diablo Pinata spray. How appropriate here for Dorado.
Strong.
Very strong. He knew they were going to be playing Dorado.
If you knock it down, you got to put it back up.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay, so he's got to refill it with candy too, but a spray is going to be a lot less satisfying. It's just paint in your mouth. Yeah, that's not as good. So finally, the offense does manage to break through. They did actually deal with Freed that time around, but it was Roadhog Adatonian getting a lot of those hook combos, and then the Whole Hog Ultimate really kind of the star of the show there for the offense.
We now move onto the part of the map, arguably where verticality will matter the most. It's all about the first floor here on the church, and when the defending teams choose to sort of move on down, we have Deadeye available now, just taking a look at the all of these players to try and find... and Adatonian almost going down. He's on a sliver, held all around the corner. Nalar can't quite get to him. A sound barrier coming down now for the offense. OWKings powering through. Adatonian finally going down. The other 5 team members, though, still up, and we are tonic down on PRETS side. If they manage to pick up the other support, for example, Tweedy is pretty big. His presence is there. We've swapped onto Diva, and Buhor is going to retreat right now. This is very, very good to start off with from OWKings, but I feel like the defensive matrix and the way they coordinated in the last 5-6 seconds of that fight allowed PRETS to gain a foothold back in that position.
Yeah, the switch for Grape specifically from the Zarya over to Diva came in very handy there, and as you mentioned, that's likely because this is the portion of the map where getting up and down easily is a high priority, so Grape will probably play Diva for the majority of this point. There's the Death Blossom from above. Clown, Twitty, Rib, all taken out there. Freed definitely performing up to snuff here this time around. Last map wasn't looking too great for him, but he has definitely got a handle on it now. Roadhog is a huge target for Reaper. Yeah. If Reinhardt starts swinging his axe at you, Reaper deals out more damage than Reinhardt does, so you can actually win that fight 1v1 as well. Freed definitely has a handle here on his reaping abilities. Claws has Earthshatter available for the defense, and they can still maintain this high ground. The payload has not pushed far enough yet where they need to just come out the front door. They can continue taking this ledge stance, and you see the attacking team actually all moving around to the right side. They do have Olbas and Tweedy's ults available. They could combo for a nice Earthshatter Deadeye potentially. Freed is ready for these the team looping around the right side. Obviously, all of them can hear this going on. You can see the Zarya bubble, the Reinhardt shield all up there on the side of the offense. But what is their choice from here? Reinhardt going to charge through somebody? There he does, and misses completely. So he's away from his entire team. There's a Graviton search here for Rib. Maybe he can pop it, but you don't want to use it when Diva's anywhere around, or defensive matrix can just eat it up.
OWKings there taking a big risk, and that risk is unfortunately not going to pay off. You saw Tweedy with the charge very early on in that engagement, completely whiffed it, goes all the way across the other side of the courtyard, and allowing those pickoffs on the team. Not having the shield as well makes the rest of the team really vulnerable, and that's not necessarily an out-and-out mistake. Think about the position you're in. You either charge or the shield's about to break, and you're left a little bit naked in a narrow corridor. What on earth are you going to do there? It's an interesting flank. OWKings tried it, but it definitely didn't work.
Maybe, if Zarya had a bubble available, you could have let the Reinhardt shield break, bubble the Reinhardt, and then just let him swing. Just go crazy, because they were all clumped up there. He does do those sweeps.
Maybe.
Clown, Rib, both go down. Nalar, of course, showing his McCree skills again, just shoots directly down into the head of Reinhardt and gets the kill. There's Olba as the last McCree. They're just going to let him live. Kill me now. Kill me now. Do it.
Nope.
Finally, they sweep up there with Reinhardt, but of course that is just to stagger the respawns. If you are unsure why they let McCree hop around, they were pretty sure he wasn't going to be killing anybody.
And that's quite important as well, because there's only 50 seconds left to go for PRETS to now make the next checkpoint. OWKings are doing very, very well, keeping a hold of this high ground position and constantly focusing in on OWKings' efforts to remove it from them. They've tried the left, they've tried the right, they're going all the way up the middle now. This is basically going to be do or die for OWKings. They move out, Freed comes down from above, and unfortunately for OWKings, gets a double kill on Clown, and Olba likely going down as well, and that is more or less going to be all she wrote. Another hold from PRETS. They have 2 ultimates available. OWKings have 0. Olba is on a Tracer, but this is stalling at best.
Yeah, Olba finally switches over to an actual flanking character. Like McCree doesn't have the legwork, basically, to sneak up on people like Tracer or Genji, for example. But it has been the Reaper show. Freed, I have to think, has gotten the majority of the kills here for the defense, even though Nalar, he's gotten a couple of 2 and 3 pieces himself. So PRETS looking incredibly impressive here on the defense. Great Earthshatter there just to shut down Reinhardt from being able to do anything. The sound barrier was out. So offense will not have that tool anymore. Likely's Transcendence needs to be used, and there it is, just to keep this push alive. Diva ult comes out, though, and that will blast through a Transcendence. Thankfully, everyone on the offense did get out of line of sight in time. Freed with only 4 health manages to Wraithwalk out of there, but no support available. Heck, yeah, he's definitely not going to last long. That corpse actually shooting skyward there, but Rib collects a couple of those kills, and finally, once again, OWKings, they're just so clutch. They wait until the last moment, and they get the checkpoint.
OWKings had to pull out something pretty special to not only stagger themselves back to the payload, but get through the PRETS defense, which has been superb all day long. And for the second time in this best of 3 in overtime on Dorado, they successfully do it. They now go with only a minute 40 remaining into the final point. Even Tonic coming out with an LOL there. He's a little bit surprised that happened, and OWKings still have all the work to do. That was a great part of the map for them at the very, very end, but they still need to push it to the finish.
Yep, just under 90 seconds now. Adatonian on that Reaper himself, trying to pull off some of those amazing Death Blossoms that he's seen from Freed. But look at that, the Earth Shatter combo. Twitty, 5 kills to his name. Everyone was in that hallway, and Twitty just said, don't worry, guys, I got this.
Oh my goodness. Game of the play, ladies and gentlemen. Tweety, unbelievable there. He is certainly going to be getting a lot of props for that. And OWKings once more, after looking like they were down and out, getting into a position where, well, the Reinhardts appear to have swapped places, and then Lar getting the early Deadeye kill off on Likely there, and Freed now going to town. He picks off Adatonian as well. That's a double kill for him. PRETS, are they going to be able to hold this now? Is the dream over? OWKings, they need to reset. I think they still have one more push in.
Not to be overly critical of Tweety, but he could have killed them a little closer to the point. You know what I mean? They could have won the game there. No, I'm just kidding. He Earth Shatter, Fire Strike, charge comboed, killed 5 people, and they still got shut down. Just a great comeback there from the defense. It was Claws, really, charging in, able to contest first and staying alive throughout that long enough for the rest of his team to trickle in and basically reverse their fortune. 20 seconds to go. This was looking really scary for them. Suddenly, you know, they almost snatched victory from the jaws of defeat. OWKings really have one more chance here, and Adatonian's got a Death Blossom to do it, but Olba's down, Clown is down, and things are looking grim now.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a fascinating match. All bets are off at approximately 1 million places in this match. We now have the Transcendence triggered just to keep them alive towards a point for a long time. And yes, okay, you've got Transcendence. We're going to go ahead and shepherd you away from this here. Overtime does tick down, and PRETS will succeed with the hold. The emotes are out in force. What an incredible match we just saw.
Yeah, let's watch some of these highlights. Good Lord knows there's a ton of them this game. Olba gets hook comboed there. Nice Deadeye, or sorry, the Graviton Surge really here was the star, while Nalar just kind of drilled through everyone. Tweety goes down. So yeah, the defense, I thought, just did a great job throughout. Offense, of course, had a couple of shining moments, but PRETS really has to be happy with their consistency there. There you see Roadhog. I really was scared that he was going to gas up and stay alive there, but of course Diva did get the follow-up kill. Freed with a nice, just running through basically the offense, holding onto his Death Blossom. I wanted to call that out earlier so that he could do this a little later on and get the triple kill.
And Nalar there, of course, getting the picks that he needs and basically practicing his sharpshooting from directly above someone's head, which I hear is useful. Freed coming in with Reap version 2.0 there, and that basically cleared out what we thought might have been the last fight on the second point, but no, we're coming back. And, I mean, the fight in overtime here was just tremendous, and OWKings really dug deep to get to the third point. But alas, it wasn't enough, and a lot of it came down to this. Tweety unleashing absolutely everything Reinhardt to happen. Fantastic push in, but not quite able to finish the business.
It's not enough, and we're just going to repeat it again. We cast PRETS in a best of 7 yesterday where they lost this map to a team called Team Project, and it did come down all the way to that very last room, basically exactly where that payload ended up. So still could go either way.
The nightmares, man, they're coming back.
PRETS on the offense this time, and something that we did see out of them previously was Grape on the Genji, but Freed, it looks like they're going to trust him with the DPS role this time around. Something we saw, though, was a super wide flank. Basically, Genji went all the way around, not even to the shortcut, but beyond that. They went all the way to the church and leapt across the gap just to be able to surprise them from even farther back, waited for his team to engage, and then Genji just went crazy on the support. So I'm curious to see if we'll see that again. On the offense, we also have Zarya, Winston, tank combo, and that Tracer for flanking opportunities. It's going to basically be the polar opposite of what OWKings did, where they came as a death ball down the stairs.
That was
this
huge.
time, PRETS is going to be doing the flanking strategy.
And Nalar is going to be playing a Tracer from the get-go as well, so really looking forward to seeing what he can do on that flank. Of course, yesterday we didn't have Buhor on Winston. We actually had Eng, who isn't playing for PRETS today. So the roles are getting a little bit switched up here on offense.
Here's a super flank from Genji again. Yeah, all the way at the church, not at that one drop-off because Symmetra turrets can sometimes screw you up, or you can basically give away your position. He's going to go all the way back. Now that his team has engaged, that's exactly what he needed to do. Found McCree very quickly. Zenyatta's now prone to death, likely is going to go down, and everything's looking good for PRETS on this offense. They've got it pretty much pieced out.
Yep, Freed did a really good job. And if anyone's wondering, by the way, why Buhor is playing Winston on the first point, that's exactly why. Because at the moment where Freed is able to go in on the back, Winston jumps in from the front, keeps the team occupied, and that allows Genji to get a kill or two in there. So really great coordination coming in there from PRETS to start things off. Adatonian, though, alongside Tweedy, still holding the front line. OWKings look like they are going to just about be able to regroup in front of the payload.
Yeah, Tweedy, Adatonian, and Rib actually all survived that onslaught. Despite losing McCree and Zenyatta very early on, they did their work on defense and managed to keep that payload still in the choke point. So despite singing all of PRETS' praises, everything should be going to OWKings as they managed to stay alive despite losing some of the key figures there. Claus does have a Graviton Search here for the attacking team. Perhaps he can get something out of it, but not just yet, as Reaper and Zarya both rush forward to take him out. Tracer has a Pulse Bomb. What is Tracer going to be able to do, though? These flanking routes for Tracer are a little bit more difficult than Genji, as she doesn't have the verticality. She basically still only has the options of the left side stairs or straight up the choke point, kind of dashing past everyone, and we'll see what she chooses to do. It's going to be on these tanks, actually, to get the perfect engagement. If they can get a Graviton Surge plus Blade or Bomb, I think it'll work out for him. Tonic probably going to be engaging, though, with that sound barrier. Here comes a Deadeye out of Olba immediately, but it's going to be a pure waste. He actually pulls the trigger and loses all of his ultimate. Graviton Surge finally comes out. You can see a Transcendence here for the defense as well. Primal Rage from Winston. Everything is going crazy right now, but if you look at the kill feed, it's the offense that is pushing forward. They have 3 kills on their side, really just finishing the job now against this Reaper, staying alive as long as he can with Wraithwalk, but should not last long.
So many ultimates available for both teams there. By the way, we started that engagement with 6 ultimates available on the side of Overwatch Kings, 5 on the part of PRETS, and it is worth noting Sound Barrier still hasn't been used. Dragon Blade is available for PRETS, and OWKings used, I think it was at least 5 of their ultimates. I know they've got 2 available now, but I think one of them only just came back. So, really, really well played there from PRETS. OWKings are not able to make the ultimate advantage count, and it all comes down to what you were saying earlier, Joshy. It's not about the skill of the individual player a lot of the time, it's about in what order the dominoes fall.
Right, and in this case, Freed actually had enough time to push forward and stop, or at least slow the defense from taking that ledge long enough for the payload to start to push out, so they're not going to get a lot of free shots from that ledge. D.Va up there now pushing people off. That is a great tactic as well. If Reinhardt's up there, you can actually just fly up as D.Va, knock him off, and it shakes everything off balance. Adatonian getting pretty low health, but he does catch the sound barrier from his teammate there, gets a couple of kills for his efforts there. Mistakes gets a kill onto the enemy Zenyatta, and things are starting to fall apart on both sides. It's really unknown who's going to come out on top here, but the defense sticking together. Lucio, Reinhardt, and Reaper is a good core to have, but Tracer just running wild now should be able to, keep pulling them apart with so few people there to focus her down.
Yeah, these are, so some might say these fights are scrappy, but they're actually not. There's been a lot of precision from both sides. It's just been brawlish, to be perfectly honest. These DPS, non-stop engagements from both teams have really taken their toll. Everybody is coming back staggered right now. Here is Rib with Winston popping down the shield, trying to get some semblance of normality back in this situation. And it looks like PRETS are going to be the first team to all gather up. They've even got some of the high ground, which is going to be excellent for Buhor and Nalar. You see up on the top there. And we'll be keeping an eye on what Nalar can do by dropping down and possibly using a Pulse Bomb if OWKings are particularly clumped up. So that is a big play that they have available to them.
I'll point out that Rib on the Winston is a great choice for defense here because he does counter the Genji somewhat. He's on Genji duty, looking for Freed, trying to not allow him to get too much. There's a nice Pulse Bomb, gets the, I'm not sure if it was a sticky, but gets the kill on Clown regardless, and a lot of damage in on the Reinhardt. Of course, he's going to be back to full health with that Harmony Orb shortly anyway, but Tracer trying to get the follow through. The rest of the team doing their jobs as well. Grape gets the kill onto the Reaper, and missing that big source of damage for the defense is going to be really bad for OWKings. This payload should be able to push all the rest of the way. They're still staggering those kills. It has not been, the big ult combos that we're used to seeing, or even triple kills here and there. It's actually just, one at a time, and that's really going to hurt the defense as they're not able to coordinate.
Now OWKings are trying to delay even further. I mean, if they staggered out to begin with, it's probably not going to hurt them too much to try and buy an extra 20 seconds. Now Adatonian going down, that cannot be a painless way to go to bed in the evening, unfortunately, but he will be respawning very shortly. And now crunch time. 76.65 meters on this final point. Can PRETS push through?
It's basically the final stretch. It's almost like having to finish completely, except better because you have as much time possible, you know, as the map allows, rather than a time being set and you having to work against a separate clock. So PRETS should feel pretty comfortable here. 3.5 minutes to just, finish this final room.
Poor
is
Cloud.
Usually manageable. Here we have a nice Earthshatter and pin. I don't know how he ended up in the window there. That was kind of interesting. Transcendence comes out here for the defense. It looks like the offense still has basically everybody in full health. Freed is a little bit deep. He's going to catch that Discord Orb, and Rib on Genji duty, as I mentioned, is going to be able to zap him down. Offense still pushing, though. That card is on the move.
Yeah, it very much is. Only Freed down at the moment for the offense. And Buhor getting dangerously low. Unfortunately, the defensive matrix, of course, not necessarily stopping any zappage there. And just to kill each at the moment, the team's kind of staying behind their respective Reinhardt. Another pulse bomb from Nalar. Won't be able to get anything this time around, though. Clown is probably thanking the gods for that. He's been taken out twice in a row. And Olba, Adatonian, that combo, the DPS guys take down 3, including, by the way, Claws, which is absolutely a mainstay of the PRETS offense here on the final point. You need those shields to be able to hide behind. And OWKings are going to be able to save the payload, but look how close that is.
Freed did manage to get out of there with his life, only 11 HP there, but it's basically like he died. Like, he still has to wait, respawn with the rest of the team, and OWKings managed to hang on here. Still 2 minutes to go, though, and they really only have to move a couple of meters to try and win this map. So PRETS really pushing to try and make it a game 3 here. They do not want to, you know, bow out this early in the tournament, just in the round of 16, so they're going to try their best. Coordinate this ultimate here. Freed actually has the Dragon Blade, but Tonic goes down so early in the fight.
Exactly.
That's really terrible for them. They basically have to wait for that Lucio.
Yeah, he could. I mean, if he had stayed, we can speculate he could have had a sound barrier up by now. So that's a little bit unfortunate. He's now back basically with 78%. So a little bit more damage from Lucio would have allowed him to get that, or healing, of course. And now we are once again back in the corridor. And of course, this is the corridor where Tweedy just had such a whale of a time last time around. A little bit of a whiff on the flashbang, but at least forcing the Wraithform coming out from the Reaper there. Both teams now going in absolutely hammer and tongs. And we have Transcendence on the side of PRETS. They're not able to get any kills beyond Adatonian, but that is a pretty crucial pickup in such a confined space now. Nalar getting that, and there is no more Reinhardt for PRETS. They need to be careful. We are taking the fight into the open.
Losing the Zenyatta there for the offense is also pretty brutal, and everything is kind of falling apart for the offense. Tonic busts the sound barrier anyway, and only benefits 4 members. He goes down very quickly afterwards. Freed does have his Dragon Blade out. He's going to get at least 1 kill there. Looking for a second. Rib goes down. Wraithwalk 4. Reaper does save his life, but he eventually falls as well. This could be the opportunity they were looking for. Diva gets popped out of the suit. McCree looking to flashbang anyone coming out there. Cart is super close now. Can they do it? Is anyone going to be able to contest? It's actually Zenyatta coming out. Oh, there's McCree as well. There's Lucio finally contesting just by his lonesome, and Discord Orb means he is not going to last. PRETS does win the game. That's going to force a game 3 now for this series, this round of 16 best of 3.
Whew, very tense end to the game there. Well done to PRETS, and no prizes for guessing where this play of the match is going to come from. Let's just enjoy this. I mean, guys, Reinhardt says, lol, no. Excellent Earthshatter, Fire Strike, and excuse me, mate, thank you very much. Oh, wait, let's just swing in for the pentakill off the top of that. Tweedy, I can't believe his team ended up losing that fight, but what an incredible play that was.
Yeah, it's so rare that you hit 4 people with 1 Reinhardt charge. I mean, it was actually, Reinhardt didn't even get knocked on his butt. He actually had his shield up. Somehow it did not fall over, but was still scooped up in the mayhem and ended up falling. Adatonian here doing his own, defensive Reaper, didn't quite benefit as much as Freed did for PRETS, as obviously they ended up losing the match, but everything went the way of PRETS in the end. OWKings unable to put together that clutch last-second defense like we saw on Numbani, so we are going to have a game number 3 very shortly here. There's some nice Dragon Blade action, and that actually was part of PRETS' final offense there to get that payload into the checkpoint.
So PRETS shaking off the cobwebs and maybe some of the demons that they were experiencing yesterday evening, as well as they win Dorado. They're going to put the series at 1-1 versus Overwatch Kings. A very back and forth series. In fact, even on Numbani, there were situations where you're like, one team is steamrolling, the other, hang on a second, at the very last moment, they've woken up and they've gone absolutely Super Saiyan. And as a result, we're seeing a very nice story unfold. So we're going to be coming back with game number 3, the decider in the series. It will be played on Kings Row due to process of elimination. And we'll see you on the other side.